A common problem that I see for people that come in to seek therapy is a chronic feeling of not being good enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not successful enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not thin enough. I don't have enough money. And all of these messages can really eat away at your soul when you constantly feel like you're not enough for people around you. And there's a name for this problem. It's called imposter syndrome. And it is a sense of chronically feeling that no matter how accomplished you are, no matter how many accolades you get, no matter how many people tell you that they love you and that you're smart and you're successful, that you have this constant worry of being found out. Oh my gosh, someone's going to figure out that I'm a fraud, that I don't really know what I'm doing, that I'm hanging on by my fingernails and just trying to get through day by day. This is actually a really common phenomenon, and it happens very commonly along with childhood abuse, in particular sexual abuse. But it's not just caused by that. It can be caused by messages that you get in childhood, and those messages can actually come from the best of intent. So some messages might be, you can sort of have two different ends of the spectrum. On one end of the spectrum, the parent is always telling the child how perfect they are, how accomplished they are, rewarding them for getting good grades in school, for achievements. And that's what we're told to do as parents, is to celebrate our child's achievements. And that's great. However, if that message becomes so pervasive that the child begins to think that love is contingent on success and achievement, then that child will push and push and push to achieve because they're trying to receive love. It's not about the achievement, it's about the love that they feel might be taken away if they don't achieve. And so that can become a really heavy burden, and people can feel like they have to have that achievement, and it can drive you to busyness addiction, work addiction, addiction with weight or looking perfect. Recently, you can see on TV people who've had multiple plastic surgeries to look perfect. There's all different ways that it can show up in your life. The other opposite end of the spectrum is if a parent is super critical of the child, always finding mistakes, never being good enough, comparing the child with a sibling or a friend. And again, this leads to chronic feelings of inadequacy, where every mistake is a threat to the love that can be received by the parent. Be received by the child from the parent. So with imposter syndrome, you can work with it in a very cognitive way, giving yourself some compassion, some kindness, trying to let in those words of affirmation when you get them. And I think that helps to a degree. But in order to really process imposter syndrome and recover from that so that you can start feeling good about yourself, you really need to address the root cause, the messages that you received in childhood about not being good enough, those messages that have been internalized. And let me reiterate that these messages can come from the best of intention. So having imposter syndrome doesn't mean that you have a bad family. It's just the way that the messages got internalized. So this is a place where deep therapeutic work can actually be really helpful. There are some books out there on self-compassion, which is another way to work with the concept of imposter syndrome, and it's a great way to get started. If you have other questions about imposter syndrome or how to work with that, feel free to give us a call. We're happy to help. Thanks so much. Have a great day.